So that means that he's been doing this for multiple shows. Allegedly, he's been getting money on the back end. Allegedly, and they're just finding out about it. And you knew about it too.
Roxy says we're gonna talk about it. Roxy says we're gonna talk about it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Roxy Says, and we're gonna talk about it. So I am back with another review. Before we get started, you know the deal. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload, because we trying to have a good time over here. So make sure that you don't miss it. The only way that you're not gonna miss it is if you subscribe and if you hit like, let's go. So this is my episode 5 review and recap of the SWV and XScape show. And at the end of this review, I'm also going to discuss a little piece of what I saw from Kandi's SpeakOnIt last night. She had Tiny as a guest, and they discussed some things that Tasha said, Tasha did. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit at the end of this video. So I'm going to try to make this review quick. My first one was hella long, so I'm going to try to condense this one. So as the show opens up, Tamika calls her sister Tasha to have a conversation with her. She says, look, I miss my sister. I want my sister back. And they agreed to meet up so that they can discuss the differences that they've been having and try to reconcile. As we know, present day, it still hasn't happened, right? Yeah. Next scene, we see Tasha in the studio with Rocky, as usual. I mean, he is her manager, so I get it. But Rocky's there being his normal extra self. She's singing a song called Full-Time Love. And I'm like, yes, full-time love while your hubby is a part-time husband because y'all got an open marriage or whatever. Yes, we love it, sis. We love that for you. Did y'all see that video? Did y'all see Tasha's apology when she admitted that she has an open marriage? I just want to know, when did the marriage open? Like, was it always open? Did it just open after all of these allegations came out? Is it open for both of y'all, or is it only open for him? Let us know. We want to know. I'm curious. We want to know, sis. Tell us. So Tamika comes into the studio and Rocky says, hey, Meek. And she's just like she ignores him and waits for Tasha to come so they can have their conversation. In this conversation, Tasha is her usual confused self.
How did we get here? What's going on? I don't understand. I don't know how we got here.
In her apology, she was confused. In this scene, she's confused. She's confused because she doesn't know this Tamika. The Tamika that she knows will do and say anything to please her. The Tamika that she knows will do and say anything to please her mother. This new Tamika, who's standing up for herself, who is putting herself before other people, she don't know who this Tamika is. So she's genuinely confused and she doesn't like it. Tasha says we need our sisterhood back. And as we know, Tasha's definition of sisterhood is Tamika just blindly following her and doing everything that she says, never questioning her, never questioning Rocky. That is Tasha's definition of a sisterhood. And that is toxic as hell. So we see the two hug it out and they're crying, and it's beautiful to see because, you know, at the end of the day, I do genuinely believe that these sisters love each other. But I believe that Tamika's love is a genuine, pure love. But I think that Tasha's love is conditional. And that condition is whether Tamika is falling in line and doing what she tells her to do. This scene is really cute. We have the ladies of SWV and XScape. They're having... That's my puppy, y'all. They're having an audition for backup dancers for their upcoming show, right? So everyone is men and women and they're doing their thing. They're doing all their dances. And at the end, the ladies pick a couple of dancers that they want for their show. During this scene, Taj says, I am the best dancer in SWV. And Lily takes the crown and admits that she is the worst dancer in SWV. On the XScape side, clearly it's known that Tamika is the best dancer in the group and Kandi is the worst. And we know this because Kandi's admitted it multiple times on Real Housewives of Atlanta that she doesn't have much rhythm coordination. So yeah, they all agree that Kandi is the worst dancer of the group XScape. Taj gets up, she starts dancing, she starts doing the worm. Like I told y'all in my other reviews, I love Taj. She's such a good time. She's such a free spirit. She's so comfortable in her skin. I just love that about her. So the girls of SWV meet up to have lunch or brunch, and Taj is telling them about a conversation that she had with Tamika, where Tamika was saying that she thinks the show should close out with XScape song Understanding, and Taj is like, no, I think the show should close out with Weak by SWV. Taj says that that is the biggest song amongst both groups' catalogs, so that's the song that should close out the show. Tamika says, no. Tiny and Kandi have the most followers out of everybody. And SWV, between all three of them put together, they don't even have 1 million followers. Meanwhile, I think Kandi has 10 million and Tiny has 7 million. I think that's what I saw on the screen. Taj is like, girl, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Tamika says, if I can take a back seat and understand that Kandi and Tiny take precedence over me because they have more followers, then you should be able to do that too. And Taj is like,
hell no.
If you want to put yourself on the back burner of Tiny and Kandi because you think that they're better than you or higher than you because of the amount of followers that they have, that's on you. That don't got shit to do with me. That don't got shit to do with SWV. The ladies reiterate, just because y'all are more popping now, today, does not negate everything that we've done in the past. It doesn't mean that we haven't sold more records than y'all. So SWV should close the show with Weak. I personally love the song Weak. I think I've covered that song on my Instagram. Have I sang that? Yeah, I've sang that song on my Instagram before. That's one of my favorite SWV songs, and I definitely prefer it over Understanding. I like Understanding too, but Weak, baby, like Weak is the song. Like, that is the way to close out the show. In the next scene, Tiny pulls up. We see Zanique, her daughter, and Eris. Eris is such a cutie. She's singing, she's acting, she's dancing. I love seeing Eris on the screen. I love seeing people with their families, so I'm happy that we got to see Zanique and Eris in this little scene. Tiny is telling Zanique about the upcoming show. She mentions that at the last sound check, Tasha actually came. She had good energy. She hugged everyone. Did you see when Tasha hugged Kandi? Kandi was like she wasn't expecting that hug, but Tasha hugged her. So Tiny's hoping that that will continue and that she'll always have a good vibe when she sees them, unlike we've previously seen. But Tiny also mentions that Tasha has not been showing up to rehearsals. And I think that if you miss rehearsal, you can't perform. When I do shows, especially if it's an ensemble type thing or if it is a play, you can't not rehearse and show up. You don't rehearse. You don't go to sound check, you don't go to dress rehearsal, you don't perform, and you don't get paid. Period, point blank. You don't just stroll in the day of the show and be like, I'm here, I've arrived, and you ain't been in no rehearsals. Baby, no, bye. Your understudy is going to do what needs to be done because your understudy was here and you weren't. Period. Tiny also mentions because Tasha hasn't been to so many rehearsals, Tamika has been able to learn her parts and perfect her parts. And they show a clip of Tamika doing one of Tasha's parts and she's sounding beautiful. So Tiny's like, well, thank you for the extra time that we could rehearse without you. All Tasha is doing by not showing up to rehearsals is teaching the group how to operate without her. All she's doing is showing them that she is replaceable, that they don't need her. And as we know today, right now, the group is touring without Tasha. And I think it should stay that way because Tasha is toxic as hell. In the next scene, we see Lily taking her grandpuppy to the spa with her sister. Let me show you my puppy. Here's my puppy. Look at the camera. Look. Tell the people hi. Say, hey, people. Paw. Oh, she's sleepy. All right, say bye. Say bye. Bye. So Lily is telling her sister that they're going to go to a stylist with XScape so that they can see what kind of outfits they're going to wear for this upcoming show. Her sister asked about XScape style and Lily's like, listen, they be in booty shorts. They have more of like a stripper type. They got more of like a stripper type deal going on. And that is not SWV style at all. So it'll be interesting to see. One of the producers asked Lily in her confessional, she's like, would you be caught dead in an XScape costume? And she was like, maybe dead. Like, that scene had me cracking up. Lily plays no game. In the next scene, we see Kandi and Coco meet up with Steven to discuss the set list. Coco's like, I don't even understand why Steven is a part of the set list because he is the creative director. Like, he should be focused on the lights and all of that other stuff. She doesn't understand why Steven is even in this meeting, but he starts reading the list of songs, and Coco really doesn't agree with the majority of the songs. She switches some things around, and then we get to this last song once again. How are we closing out the show? Is it with Escapes Week or is it with Understanding by Escape? Did I say Escapes Week? This is a reoccurring issue in the show and they just can't seem to get it right. Coco says, I know that they want to go last because they want to close out the show because they want it to look like they are the headliners, right? If they have the last song of the show, they close the show out. It's like, thank y'all for, doing y'all songs in the beginning. Thank y'all for doing your little songs. But we gonna close out the show because this is our show. We the head honchos over here. So we gonna close the show. And Coco knows that's what they want to do. Coco's like, look, either we're closing the show with Week or we're not doing the show. She tells both Kandi and Steven, we're not changing our minds on this. So it is what it is. We're not going to do the show if we don't end the show with Week. In Kandi's confessional, Kandi says, this is the real Coco. Like, she's always trying to be like, oh, we don't do drama and blah, blah, blah. But this is the real Coco. This is what Kandi is saying. And I kind of agree. I know that Coco is feisty. We've seen it. Her own group mates told us back in the day, Coco was a lot. So I believe it. And we're seeing it now. And Coco said, look, I don't have an ego, but that ego's gonna come out. If they keep playing, keep trying to disrespect SWV, I'm gonna remind them who I am. Period. So the ladies are in their car on the way to their stylist, and we get a little glimpse of a conversation with Jalens, his mom, Coco, and Tosh. And Jalens lets us know that he's gonna go back to school. We love that for Jalens. I'm happy that he decided to go back to school, and he's gonna do everything. They tell him he could be a singing dentist, which would be super cute. But he says, you know what? I don't want to fall behind on my studies, so I'm gonna go back to school, and then I'll also have something to fall back on in case things don't work out, which is all that his mom wanted. I'm really happy that that's the decision that he's making. The ladies get to the stylist. His name is Corey Boy, and he has his assistant who's his boyfriend. They look so cute. Corey Boy worked with Escape in 2017 on a previous tour that they had, and obviously they liked him, so they're going back for him to style him again. When Lily walks in, she looks around. She was like, it looked like Magic City in there. You don't see any piece that's hung up that's like clothing or like fully covered. Everything is showing skin. And they do let us know that he does a lot of stripper costumes. But in the clip, they showed us that he previously styled. They were clothes, like they weren't in like no stripper gear. So clearly he can do a little bit of everything. So he starts asking all of the girls individually, like, what's their style, what they like, what they don't like. And Tamika lets it be known, you're going to have to style Tasha completely separately because she be acting like she's Diana Ross. And they show a picture of when they all had on like this red getup, but hers was like red and silver. She looked totally different than the group. And we also remember that recent award show they went to where all the girls had on a particular color. I can't even remember. And she was the only one with like a lime green dress. Tasha lets us know that the stylist that they would all use previously, it wasn't working out for her. So she had to get her own stylist. I wish she went more into detail with that, because what was the problem with the previous stylist? Like, what wasn't working out to the point that you had to get another stylist? And even if you had to get another stylist, why don't you make sure that your new stylist is in communication with the old stylist so that you can still at least look like you're in the same group and not like they're your background singers? What is that about? She's been separating herself from the group. That's what it looks like. She's been trying to look like Diana Ross and they're the Pips, or like she's Gladys Knight. Who's Gladys? Not Diana. I mean, Diana Ross and the Supremes, or like she's Gladys Knight and the Pips. What's going on, Tasha? So again, they start having this discussion about what song is going to close out the show. And Lily goes off and she's like, look, I'm not going to be around anybody that's going to downplay what I've done or who I am, what SWV has accomplished, just because y'all got more Instagram followers. I'm not doing it. And Kandi's like, well, no. You know how Kandi start all her sentences. Well, ain't nobody. Tamika and Kandi, they're like, we're not trying to downplay you. We're just telling you that we think that we should close out the show. And SWV is like, yeah, no, Week needs to close out the show. And Jalens is looking like, Jalens was looking at XScape like they had 20 heads. He was looking at them like, y'all are crazy if y'all think that we should close this show with understanding. Now, some might say he's biased because Coco is his mama, but yo, his face had me rolling. He was looking at them like, are y'all okay? Are y'all okay? He was like, Jayla had me cracking up. We also see in a clip that SWV actually shares one dressing room. Like, they have no problem all being in the same dressing room. Meanwhile, XScape, each of them have their own dressing room. Tiny be having pianos in her dressing room. Like, clearly, they do things a bit differently. Tiny mentions that their shows have a little bit more production, you know, and she's not trying to be disrespectful, but she's like, you know, our outfits are different. They dress like they're still in the 90s. I mean, that was kind of shady, Tiny. But she says SWV, they dress like they're in the 90s. They be wearing overalls and combat boots. I like combat boots. Shit, I like me some combat boots. But she says XScape dresses more current, or what she thinks is more current. You know, they got the lace and the beads and the sequins and the rhinestones and stuff. And she also says that their productions are a little bit on a grander scale. They have lights from the ceiling to floors. They have graphics and all of this stuff. And she's like, you know, like, we just do things a little bit differently. Tiny says, we're both saying the same thing. So what's the problem? Y'all want to go last? We want to go last. Like, why y'all making it seem like we the bad guys? We both saying the same exact thing. And Coco says, how about we just each do our set and go home? Like, at the end of the day, we do our songs, y'all do y'all songs, and then we go home. And Tamika's like, well, why does it have to be like that? And Coco's like, yeah, clearly because we're not agreeing on the set list. So let's just do our own sets and call it a day. Tamika's like, so the sisterhood is out the window. And Coco's like, baby, it's been out the window. I've been saying this. Let's just do our sets and go home because this is getting out of hand. And she says she's getting effing pissed off. See, I got the perfect solution for y'all. Y'all should have called me. Get a little hat. You see a hat? It could be any color, any shape, any size, any color you want. Get 10 pieces of paper, write SWV on 5 pieces, write XScape on 5 pieces, okay? 10 pieces of paper. Put them in the hat. Make sure that everyone agrees whatever comes out of this hat, that's going to be the final decision. Go outside, find a complete stranger, someone who don't know nothing about nothing, and tell them, hey, can you pick a piece of paper out of this hat? And whatever they pick, that's the group who's making the decision on the last song. Very simple. It's not biased. Y'all don't got to fight about it, right? No, it's not going to come back to bite anyone in the behind because a stranger off the street picked it. Just do that and just go with it and just stick with it and just let it be done. Because if y'all going to keep arguing over this one last song, like, it's getting ridiculous. We the people, we are annoyed and we are tired and we want y'all to get it together because this will be a great show. But as we know, it never happens, right? It never happens. So in this scene, So in this scene, the ladies of XScape have a sit down with Tasha. They all meet up to discuss what they've discovered, right? So a promoter sent them some documents, some screenshots. The ladies sit down and they let Tasha know that a promoter told them that Rocky has been receiving kickbacks from the group. They show text messages between Rocky and the promoter. So what Rocky's been doing is he's talking to promoters and he's telling them, look, I can get you all 4 of the girls together. I can make sure that they perform together instead of just the 3 of them. But slide me 20 G's on the side. What? Bro. Slide me 20 G's on the side. He also mentions in these text messages, I already told Tasha about the other money that you gave me. So she knows that you're going to look out for us. Slide me this money and Tasha will make sure that the group is on the same page and you'll get all 4 members of XScape to perform. But you got to slide me this $20,000 on the side. If Rocky is getting $20,000, then Tasha's getting a piece of that, right? That is shady as hell. That is shady as hell. And no wonder why XScape wanted new management. Rocky is making deals on the side behind the group's back, and he's pocketing money off of them, that money that they're not aware of. They could sue him off of that. They should sue him off of that. It seems like Rocky and Tasha have been doing a whole bunch of stuff, allegedly. Right? I gotta say that, right? Shady business practices, and no one is holding their feet to the fire. Like, people might confront them about it, but no one is taking them to court. Take these people to court. Why are y'all not taking these people to court? So of course, Tasha's looking at the papers.
What is this?
Bitch, read the paper. What do you mean? Read the paper. It's screenshots of text messages. And she's like, I'm confused. I don't understand. So y'all gonna believe these screenshots? Yes, it has his phone. That's his number, right? Why are you telling us to not believe it? First, Tasha says,
oh, this is fake. This isn't true. This didn't happen. My husband, Rocky, is not receiving any kickbacks.
That's the first thing she says. Then they take the papers out and they take the text messages out, and she reads it and she's acting confused. And then she's like, well, I didn't get any money. I didn't do this, right? At first, Rocky never did anything. And then when they show the proof that he did, it changes to, well, I didn't do this. I don't know anything about this. Girl, the text messages show that Rocky has discussed this with you. And Kandi and Tamika and Tiny, they're like, no, in the text messages, it says that you're aware. In the text messages, Rocky says that he spoke to you about it, that you discussed it. So you know. So this look of confusion, I would be ready to fight. 20 G's. And that's just one text message. So that means that he's been doing this for multiple shows. Allegedly, he's been getting money on the back end. Allegedly, and they're just finding out about it. And you knew about it too. Kick her out the group. How can y'all still be in a group with this girl and she's being shady? Her husband's being shady. She doesn't show up to rehearsals. She has a bad attitude, and she's stealing money from her sister, and she's stealing money from all of y'all. What else does she need to do for y'all to officially kick her out of the group? This is crazy. We see now that Tasha has a pattern. Anything that she's confronted with, especially if it comes to money or is concerning her husband, she's going to deny. Or if she says anything about it, she'll say, well, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. She's doing it now with these text messages, and she's doing it with her sister. I don't know anything about that. I'm confused. We need to figure this out. I don't know what's going on. Aren't you tired of covering for Rocky? We're tired of watching you cover for Rocky. Are you not tired of covering for Rocky? You gotta be tired, baby. That's her husband. That's her manager. She's so deep in. She's been covering for him for so long. She doesn't know how to not cover for him. She just did it in this apology video too, right? Where she was crying and saying that she knows everything that her husband does. And now she tells us that they're in an open marriage. Covering for Rocky. Girl, I don't believe for 1 minute y'all was in an open marriage. And if y'all was, it's only open for him. Where your man at? I want to see your man. Where's your man? Where's your boyfriend? Cause allegedly he got a whole bunch of girlfriends. So where's your boyfriend? I want to see him. Or is it only open for him? Tasha, stand up. Stand up, Tasha. Stand up, please, baby. Stand up and pay Tamika her money. Okay, so like I told y'all in the beginning of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about SpeakOnIt. I caught a little piece of it, but these are just the parts that stood out to me. This is where Kandi and Tiny were discussing the text messages, the last scene of the show. And Kandi and Tiny went more into detail about all of the documents that they saw. Some things that we didn't see. A wire transfer with the account numbers from the bank on the letterhead. Like, it's an official wire transfer with all of the information and Rocky's name on the wire transfer as well. Just like Tamika's checks were endorsed by Rocky Bivens, or what's his name? Edward Bivens, or whatever his real name is. Same thing with these wire transfers. You can't deny those, right? And Tiny also mentions that there was a period where they were performing without Kandi, right? So Kandi was doing shows or whatever. For whatever reason, Kandi wasn't performing with XScape. There were XScape 3. It was just Tasha, Tiny, and Tamika, right? And at one point, Tasha came back to the group and she was like, hey, we should try to get Kandi back. we should try to get Kandi to perform with us. And Tiny is like, why? We're making more money without her. I really like Tiny. I feel like she's really genuine because she's saying this right in front of Kandi, right? She's like, I said, why? We're making way more money than we've ever made. We only got to split the money 3 ways now. Why the hell do we want Kandi back? Why do we need her to perform with us? That's cutting down our money. It doesn't make any sense. But Tiny says, now she understands why. Because Rocky was getting a kickback, allegedly. So now it all makes sense. They were having issues with different promoters, they also mentioned. Rocky had promised that all 4 of them would do a particular performance. But what happens is Kandi and Tiny couldn't do that show because they had gotten sick. But Rocky had already gotten his extra 20, 30, whatever, however much he made that particular deal for. Rocky already got his kickback. So when Kandi and Tiny didn't show up to the show, that promoter and Rocky fell out because Rocky got paid for 4 girls, but the promoter only got 2 because Kandi and Tiny were sick. But Kandi and Tiny weren't aware of this deal because Rocky was making it behind closed doors, allegedly. All of this is alleged. Allegedly. Y'all know. All of this is alleged. But they said now that they know what's been going on, it makes sense. Because for Tasha to want Kandi back, what? They don't even like each other. So Tiny said she was confused, but now it makes sense because it was in Tasha's best interest to have all 4 because Rocky gets a kickback. So if Rocky gets a kickback, Tasha gets a kickback too. Girl, this season is juicy. So once again, thank y'all for sticking with me to the end. If this video made you laugh, chuckle, smile, anything, please leave me a like below. I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers. Like, I'm trying to get to 100, so help me get there. Be one of my first 100 subbies. Hit subscribe, hit like. Let me know what you think about this episode. Let me know what you think about Jalens going back to school. Let me know down below what song you think should close out the show. Do you think it should be SWV's Week, or do you think it should be Escape's Understanding? What else? Do you think that what Escape is doing today, in terms of the amount of following that they have, do you think that that sets precedence over what SWV has accomplished back in their day? What do you think is more important? What do you think holds more weight? Do you believe that the text messages that Escape showed Tasha, do you believe that they're real? Do you think that they're fabricated? Do you think that Rocky is getting kickbacks or was getting kickbacks from the group's performances? Do you think Tasha knew about it? What do y'all think? Let me know below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Roxy says we're gonna talk about it. Roxy says we're gonna talk about it.